What up? What up? What up? This Ibn Webb, Webb Quran is some here. Official thanks thing going down here. Doing Essex County all day edition here. This guy's been requested, for some of my fellow immaculate people here. So I was able to reach out to him and I got him. He's just like, not a problem jumping on and just talking or what have you here. So we're gonna do Lance Boston, that's his name, and I'm just looking forward to hearing about him because I know I'm a few years behind Lance here, just some of the things that he's done and what he's doing with his life here. I just look forward to just hearing and talking to him a little bit. So hold tight. Lance, peace. Lance, how you doing?
What's up? What's up?
Nah, thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, for doing this here. I know you ripping and running like everybody else here, so I'm glad you're able to squeeze a little bit of time out for me, man. You don't know how appreciative I am of this.
Oh, no problem, brother. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, how's life treating you, man? Family, everybody good? I mean, I know with all this going on, I mean, everybody holding up.
Yeah. We're I'm down in Mobile, Alabama, running a private car service and really just getting back on my feet after COVID.
Okay.
It kind of pretty much shut me down for about a year and a half. So I was now back in motion. Yeah. So
Nah, definitely. But I know with the transportation business too, obviously everybody being home and isolated too. So, I mean, but it
yeah,
causes all of us to be creative a little bit too.
that's right. That's right. There was no business, for a while. It shut everything down. Nobody was traveling. Nobody needed, it was just, it just shut down. Luckily, I've got a contract with FedEx, and so
Okay.
that was still going, and that kept me afloat. But now, it's full go ahead now. So back in action.
Nah, good to hear. I know people just itching to get out too, so I'm sure.
Yes.
That's great. That's definitely
Oh,
great,
yes.
man. Health wise, you're good. Family, everybody's okay.
Yes. Doing well. Got my weight down. Eating healthy. Doing well.
Good. And I know down in Alabama, there's just want to mind taking a trip up north for a minute here. Uh, as far as just with everything, I mean, I know you've been around sports and just a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously with your family, as far as traveling and being around the United States here, man. Where it all start from? Actually, where are you from?
I was born in Newark.
Okay.
Uh, Lived in a Weekway off of Elizabeth Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Then moved to the corner of Dodd and Thomas Boulevard. Where that ShopRite was right across the street from me.
Lance, I never knew that to this day. I'm right down in the complex. I'm in Dodgetown there.
I know. Yeah. So I lived there. I think we moved there when I was kindergarten through third grade, and then we moved to down the street from Wasesson Park on Netherwood Terrace,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived there right up until I left, from college.
Okay,
So
okay.
born in Newark, raised in East Orange.
Yeah, how's your childhood? I know everybody had their own definition of normal here. How was yours growing up, activity wise? And was you the only sibling?
Yeah, I have a younger sister. She's 9 years younger, but basically for a while I was the only child. My dad played for the Giants there, and then was a coach for Montclair State College all throughout my upbringing. So I was literally born in sports.
Okay.
I was going to different parks, playing. He was always doing some sort of recreational program, and so I was always tagging along. Or whether it was just being at Montclair State, watching practice, playing on the bags, running around the stadium. So I literally was born in sports. It was it's always been part of my life.
Interesting. So something that you just gravitated to, you wasn't pushed into it.
No. I mean, it kind of sort of goes hand in hand. Your dad puts the ball in your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it worked. But I liked it. I enjoy it. I like playing. I got a great rush from playing, football, basketball, baseball, kickball, dodgeball. We did it all. It was a different time when I was growing up. We played a lot of games,
Yes.
and so you was always active with stuff.
Nah, most definitely, man. And I know, speaking of, you play a little baseball too. See, I just learned something just now. You did a little baseball
Well,
as well,
look,
growing up.
look, stick ball, look on the street. Nothing
Okay.
more than that.
All right,
I
they
had a,
go.
we had, I had a nasty wiffle ball curve, but that was it.
Oh, we all did, especially when the wind was blowing. We was good.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Nah, now as far as organized wise, when did you do basketball, football? You started playing at a young age.
I didn't start playing until I went to Immaculate for sixth grade.
Okay.
That was the first actual team that I was on, organized sports. But up until that point, it was just parks, that type of stuff.
That's see. So did you go? You as far as grammar school, you did the whole grammar
I went
school
to
to Immaculate.
Franklin.
You
I
went to
went to
Franklin.
Franklin.
Got you.
Yeah, I went to Franklin.
Mhm.
I went to Franklin, and then my parents wanted me to go to a different school other than Hart Middle.
Mhm.
And so I had some different looks. And then there was a guy in my neighborhood named Neil Eiton,
Mhm.
ended up playing cornerback for Boston College. And he lived right around the corner from me. And he was at Immaculate.
Okay.
And so that's how kind of like the name of the school kind of got aware to my parents. And so next thing you know, I was at Immaculate.
So you get there, you playing. I don't know. I don't think it's called CYO, but basketball wise, y'all playing all the other
Yeah.
Catholic schools around.
Right. We played. That was the first time I was in the league. We played CY. It was probably, I think it was CYO or GIL something.
Okay.
But just the local Catholic schools, and it was good play. I thought I did very well. It was growing up in my neighborhood. I played basketball with a lot of guys who were older than me.
Mhm.
And so, when I got to Immaculate, actually the game was a lot easier, because you were playing guys who were my age or younger than me. And, so, I had pretty good success, in the junior high ranks, that was, no big deal. I met Lee Mullins, Lamar, Sherrard.
Yeah.
We were teammates. So my seventh grade year, they came in as sixth graders.
Okay.
And so we were teammates all the way through high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good dudes.
Now your dad coached, I think, right? Did he?
Mm-hmm. So he was, he was one of those dads that was always involved.
Okay.
And speaking from the sideline. And so it just kind of evolved, next thing you know, he was coaching. So he coached us, I think end of our sixth grade year, seventh grade, and eighth grade year. And I think he coached Lee the year after I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was those car rides home? You remember any of
it? Yeah. He was, it was always interesting, talking to somebody who's done it, and so you get advice, you get guidance and stuff. And he was never, pushy or pressure on me. It was always always good conversation. I thought I had an advantage, to where I had most people, don't have today, is that I had a father who was, involved and active in me. And so it made it easy to, for him to be my coach, because he was always, involved with me at the house anyway, whether he was coaching me or not.
Yeah, and it's a slippery slope, because he got your mom to deal with too. If it was anything, things got a little
That's
crazy.
Right. That's right. Yeah, she was a teacher for years at Bergen Street Elementary.
Okay.
So she taught there, and so like I said, my life was revolved around East Orange and Newark. Yeah.
Now, interested. I know you played with Lee. I know. So y'all had to figure this out. Like, I mean, the touches straight through high school here. Like, so.
Oh no. See, I took those.
Okay.
When early on, I was more of a scorer and more dominant, and I was kind of more, I would say, aged than Lee was. Lee was just getting started.
Okay.
He was slim, and learning the game. And then as each year he got bigger and bigger and more athletic. And then he by far, when I was a senior, he by far was the better player. But early on, junior high through up, I pretty much dominated the basketball.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
Now, interesting. And then even obviously the high school connected to elementary school, was it a no-brainer you was going to Immaculate, or did you consider doing something else?
The only other choices was to go to Essex Catholic or Seton Hall Prep, and I did not want to go to an all-boys school, and so I was already very comfortable at Immaculate, and so I just decided to stay there.
Okay.
That was an easy decision.
Yeah. Now, as far as football, you first time you put the pads on, was it ninth grade or
Yes,
really?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, like I showed up first day of practice was the first day of school for me. Me, Ben, Fred, we all showed up in our street clothes. You know, we didn't know we were going to practice. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
Ben, poor Ben, he had on a white white pants, a white turtleneck. It was some beads, and you know he was styling for the first day of school, but not knowing he had to get through up downs in the grass. You know.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, yeah. All white on with a turtleneck in middle of
Right, right,
September,
right,
August, right?
right. So we that was my first year playing organized football. Coach, I believe it was Tom Kiernan
Yeah,
was our
coach. Yeah,
coach.
Coach Tom. Okay.
Yep. And so I played fullback, linebacker, and I was the kicker on the team.
Mm. How'd you
Yeah.
how'd you like it initially? As far as, I mean, I know you played around the way and everything else here, but to actually play, I mean, obviously your dad played. Now you got the equipment on. How was it for
You
you?
know, I did well. I had great success, but I was not a practice type player with football. I didn't have that type of, you know, rah 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 type, you know, with that. I was there and I did well, but that wasn't my thing. Basketball was more my sport. And so after freshman year, I didn't play sophomore going into sophomore year. I didn't play football.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I only played my freshman year, and then the first week going into my junior year at a scrimmage, Ben and Fred both got hurt, and I think Lamar was hurt too. And the season was about to start, and I was literally holding the yard marker at Montclair Kimberly Academy, helping out, and the whole team was looking at me like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, really, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I came out that year, the first week of school,
Okay.
and I scored like I don't know how many touchdowns and was the player of the week. And so I ended up sticking with it. So I played my junior and senior year football, did not play my sophomore year.
Uh, didn't know that as far as it take, because you just wanted a break, or you just like, you know what, practice, this football thing ain't my thing. I'm just
Well,
gonna fall back.
I had went to for my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I was working at this basketball camp at Montclair State College called Hall of Fame Basketball Camp. It was run by the Harlem Wizards, Bunny Levitt, who was the free throw champion in the Guinness Book of World Records, and Bobby Lewis was a dribbling instructor with Curly Neal. So he you can look him up on YouTube. He's got some really awesome stuff. So I was a counselor because my dad worked there. He set me up to be a job, you know, get a job.
Okay.
And so I was a counselor at that camp for that summer. And I got to spend a lot of time with the, you know, players and work on my game. And that year, for 1 week, the youth games came to play there.
Okay.
And it was 15 and under. It was the 15 and under league. So for 1 week, I got a chance to watch players from all over the country in what we now know as AAU tournament. But at the time, I had no idea what that was. And so, you know, I'm looking at these guys who were my age. Gerard Mustaf, who played for the DC squad. I think he was a pick for the Knicks. You know, Chris Mills for LA, and then for New Jersey, they had Bobby Hurley, I think Earl, Fanatic, you know, Earl. It was a whole bunch of guys that were my age that looked really good and much better than me. So I was like, it was an eye-opening experience that I needed to kind of focus more on basketball if this was what I was going to try and do at the time. So that's why I didn't pursue football that sophomore year.
Interesting. So just seeing all of them, like, how did you? I mean, what did you do to work on your hoop game here? I know I'm going back and forth with sports, but
Yeah.
basketball, how did you do as far as working on your game? Just seeing them, like, I got to get there.
Well, like I said, I was at that camp, so I played all the time and played with guys who were a lot older than me and who were
Hmm.
doing professional sometimes overseas,
Hmm.
and just got real honed in trying to practice and stay with it. That's what I did. Back in the day, I didn't do AAU
Okay.
at the time. I was just working at that camp, and I just thought that playing football. When I play football, your body takes a certain level of conditioning. It's a transition that you got to take before you can switch seasons. Your
Right.
body's still sore. Your shot is a little off. You'll step a little slow. You got to get used to being on the court as opposed to being on the football field. And I just didn't want to go through all that. And then, like I said, I hated football practice. you know, I hated football practice.
Yeah.
So, that thing to me was like, I'm not doing that. I didn't think twice about it. But at Immaculate, it was a big deal because, numbers are small.
Yes.
I'm a decent athlete and son of a professional athlete, and I'm not playing football. So
Hmm.
that was kind of tough, but eventually everybody got over it.
Yeah, and like you said, Immaculate being small, you couldn't hide. It ain't like it was a big school
Right,
and hide. You
right.
couldn't hide. Yeah.
Right. Like I say, when that game at Montclair Kimberly, Coach Finn made me, he asked / made me,
Yeah.
hold the
Yeah.
yard marker, as if to say you're going to do something,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so when all the eyes turn to you, being a small school, you have certain bonds with those guys, and
Yes.
so you just feel kind of like, okay, I want to be a part of it and do my part. And so that was reason why I played for the from my teammates, Fred and
Hmm.
Ben and Mike and Wujek and all those guys. You just
Yeah.
want to do it for them, really.
Nah, definitely. And then obviously with the football, you mentioned those names and you mentioned other ones that's around. I mean, you had Kelvin and obviously I know Tyrone
Okay.
was a. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you had all those guys here. You guys are good, man. Like, I mean, I know you came up short on a couple of games here and there, but for the most part, man, it was just like y'all just was like a machine, man. Like, just looking back, obviously, Kelvin, he's in my complex. He was in the complex.
Okay. Yeah.
Mark Hardaway was in the complex. So
Hmm.
I always heard, obviously what was going on if I didn't go to
Okay.
a game or something. So just hearing about you guys, man, like I know the Mountain Lakes of the world, the Cedar Groves of the world, it was a lot. It was a lot of head banging, man.
Yeah. It was good football. We came up short. I think our junior year and senior year we lost to Whippany Park that kept us out of the playoffs, and
Hmm.
it was like a brawl too. That ended up being like a brawl,
Oh, you had a fight with, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. I mean, like both benches cleared, the game was over, called everything. Yeah, it was
Yeah, yeah.
it got real chippy real quick, and
Hmm.
but yeah, we had a good little squad. And then our senior year, we opened up against Whippany Park,
Hmm.
so Tyrone and them did not get a chance to get revenge like we did.
Yes.
We opened up. That was the first game of the season, and literally they quit third quarter.
Mm.
They did not want any more. I mean, it was extra hitting. It was just intensity that just lasted, beyond regular football.
Oh yeah, no,
You know?
yeah, no, reminder, absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely it was.
Absolutely. Now I know
Now,
I did ask Fred. I mean, like you, Fred, and Ben, man, like with the touches, like was anybody pouting like internally, like as far as getting your touches?
no, I don't
Okay,
think so.
okay.
To be honest, all of us were in the backfield, but a lot of times because of injuries, we all kind of had it all kind of worked out. Whether I was playing tailback or fullback was
Hmm.
based on, Fred was healthy, I was playing fullback. If Fred was hurt, I played tailback.
Hmm.
So and Fred was hurt a lot.
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
so I got a chance to put a lot of tailback. When Ben was hurt, we was switch off. So it really didn't affect us at all. we all got, our looks and stuff. And so, and we had a good relationship with each other. So it wasn't like we were, hating on one another at all. We were very competitive with each other, but in a way to push each other,
Okay.
not to like say, hey, try and say, stop somebody's, success.
Okay.
If you was rolling, you had the hot feet, you got the ball. If you didn't, you did something else. That's the way it was. And plus we were playing both sides of the ball. So, sometimes, you didn't care if he got the rock, because you was playing all on defense too, so it was always, all of us was doing it together. It was no hating there.
Yeah. And then it kind of, I know, not going to the playoffs, but it still culminated with your last game being on television there.
Yeah, I think that was Glen Ridge.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Glen Ridge. I think I had a pretty good game that game. I don't remember, but I had a couple of good plays. And one of them I know got me a scholarship. They did a tape. Coach Finn did a tape of an interception in that game, and the coach ended up. That's what the coach said. It drew his attention to start recruiting me.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. That's what got me up to Maine eventually.
Yeah. Before we get to Arnold here, you still had basketball to do, man. Like even coming into Immaculate. I mean, did you play varsity immediately?
Yeah. I played freshman year. I was on the freshman team, which was real good. And then I played at the end of the freshman year. I played on the varsity, and was a backup point guard. Did really well in the state championship game against Immaculata, and I knew I could play at that point. I knew I could do it. And then sophomore year through senior, I started point guard.
Yeah. How was life with the yin and the yang here with Michael Fest and Jim Ryan there?
I love those guys, man. They were
Yeah.
cool. Fest was a good dude to me. He was very fair. Coach Ryan was a character, as you know, and but he was a good coach. And when you think about a coach, it's somebody that pushes you to where you want, to where you can't take yourself. And Coach Ryan put that in me as far as defense.
Yes.
It was interesting. I moved recently, and I found some old tapes, and I could hear, and I was watching some old games, and I could hear Coach Ryan screaming, "Slid on the floor, slap the floor." I could hear him doing
Sounds
stuff,
about right. Yeah, sounds about right.
So those things always kept me, attentive on the court, and like I say, he was a good dude to me. Fest, he had me in football, basketball, and I get a chance to actually share some beers with him at his bar later in life. And like I said, I got a lot of love and respect for those guys.
Yeah. How was this competing with basketball? Again, obviously, you guys are always good. I mean, outside of the conference, I know sometimes even in the counties, and I mean, I know, was it your senior, y'all lost to Scott, I believe. Correct?
Yep, we lost to Clifford Scott, man. I had an off night, and I wanted that bad because a lot of those people I knew, Marquise and I went to elementary school together, and I knew a lot of people there, but hey, it happens. You have off nights. And then in the state, we lost to St. Anthony's, Bobby Hurley's team. So we, that was a wrap. They had NBA guys.
Yeah. And obviously, you mentioned scholarship and all this. I mean, as a kid, I know some of us is like, what, to get a scholarship and play, D1 was the thing back then. Did you think, basketball wise, before we get to ultimately choosing football, you get any looks for basketball?
Yeah, I was getting looks. Basketball at that time was, for me, I was good, but I was not, elite, at that level. So for my height and such, there was doubt that I was going to get a, major Division I offer at that time. And so I had my eyes open, but I still wanted it. But during that time, your senior year kind of dictated when you were going to get an offer. And football, I had offers already. So it was kind of one of those situations like, what's that saying? A bird in the hand beats two in the bush.
Yes.
You know, instead of waiting to my senior year to play basketball and get a scholarship offer, I took the scholarship offer to go to Maine.
Okay. Now,
Yep.
even with was any other schools out there even for football as far as that
Yeah, I was
time?
getting recruited a lot of the same Yankee Conference
Yeah,
teams,
conference teams. Okay.
Connecticut, Rhode Island,
Okay.
those type, Villanova, in Division One, Penn State was recruiting me a lot. Eventually, they offered me a partial scholarship, which is what you could do back then, is stockpile partials.
Yes.
So that's why a lot of those schools, stockpiled athletes.
Hmm.
But I didn't want to take a partial scholarship, and so ended up, going up to Maine. There were a lot of guys from Maine, from Essex County. Jamal Williamson had went up the year before, and
I
he
remember
was
that
at
name. I heard that name. Yes.
yeah, he was at East Orange High School,
Mhm.
and he went up the year before. My year, me, Ben, and Keith Short from East Orange High
You
School
short? Yes.
went up. So you have 4 guys from East Orange, my first year up there.
Mhm.
And if you want to count basketball, Ross and
Collins,
Kirsten
and then Collins was up there too, I think, right? The basketball player for Patterson.
Yep.
I can't think of his first name.
Yep. Chris Collins, he was
Chris.
up there. But even before that, Rossi Kirsten from East Orange, he played at Essex. He went up there, and Marty Higgins from Nutley, he was up there.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what happened. My dad coached at Montclair State with Freddie Hill, Senior. He was the head coach at Montclair State for years in the 80s. And his son, Freddie Hill Jr., was the assistant basketball coach at Maine.
Okay.
He's the one who put up the goal in my backyard, him and his brothers. So I know him.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I went up for my recruiting visit, Jamal is in the office. He's from East Orange. Freddie Hill's in the office. He's, family basically. Ben, and there was another couple of guys, Billy Curry and Larry Peters. They were from Hackensack and Passaic. My roommate Chuck was from Columbia High School. I think he's a coach at Shabazz now. So, there was a New Jersey connection that made it very easy for me to select to go to Maine. I think that's, yeah.
Now, you might have had a little difference in regards to your father having to go through all that stuff too, versus a lot of other people. How was he in the process, or he just kind of let you do your thing and make a decision on your own?
Oh, he was always a good person to get advice from. I mean, like I said, that was always there. It didn't really increase or change anything with the football, recruiting. I mean, he was always talking to me about things. So there was never, a need to talk anything different. I knew I had sound advice. He went up with me to visit and see the place, so I knew I was going to be all right there. Both of my parents, I came from both of my parents, household, and so I was very confident in what I was going to be doing, the next phase of my life.
So that next phase began, Orono, Maine, like
Orono,
Maine, man,
woo,
like
cold.
It's not yet. It ain't East Orange.
No, it's not. It was different. But I'll tell you funny, the first day of class, I got kind of sidetracked and ended up coming into class about 5 minutes late.
Okay.
Couldn't find the building and walked in the building. It was an auditorium style lecture class, and literally 350, students in an auditorium style setting, and the door opens and here I am. And I'm the only Black dude in the building. So, I had to get used to that, but it was a different type of feel up there, man. I met a lot of people that never met a Black person before.
Yes.
Literally never met a Black person before, except for on TV. Maine is, I think the entire state is 1%, maybe 1% Black. On our campus, we were less than 100, and most of us were football, basketball, a few track, and a couple of international students, but that was it.
Yeah, and then socially, I mean, you had much to do. What you had to go down to Bangor. I don't know, to the mall in Bangor. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Bangor thing.
Okay.
We hung out among we formed a tight crew where we
Okay.
would, entertain and hang out amongst ourselves. That first year,
Hmm.
that second year, we kind of sprouted our wings a little bit, and just did some different things, and kind of took it in to where we were settled in there. We
Hmm.
weren't, New Jersey, just trying to survive. We were actually enjoying our time there.
Okay. Football wise, different world. I mean, it's not the
Yes.
Colonial Hills. It's Yankee Conference, and
No.
football is a business now. Like,
Yes.
how was that transition? I mean,
The first year was tough for me. I had never did two-a-days.
okay.
So first for year at Immaculate, I showed up first week of school.
Hmm.
Sophomore year, I didn't play. Junior year, I showed up the first week of the game
Hmm.
because the situation. And then senior year, I got into a car accident the 2 weeks before school.
Mm.
So and yes, I was not that hurt, but I did not want to go to practice.
Yeah, it's smart.
So
Yeah, it's smart.
I milked it.
Hmm.
So I never did a two-a-days until I got to Maine.
Okay.
And and then you dealing with people who like take football seriously.
Yes. Yes.
This is their life. They're weightlifting, some guys are taking steroids for this, I mean, they're like serious about this. They want it real bad. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to figure this out. And so that first year, it took me an adjustment to the speed, the attention to detail that you have to have,
Mhm.
the meetings. Basically, football was a business year round. You were running, weightlifting. I had never lifted weights until I got
Mhm.
to college.
Mhm.
So then what really did for me and as a great motivator was the depth chart.
Okay.
When you walked in the locker room, you saw your name at your position. And I was last, on the depth chart. And I'd never been last in anything,
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a minute, I need to, get serious about this. And so I started to really, get focused in terms of, exercise training, weight training, and all that, and being a student of the game. And until I got to a point where I can actually play. And sophomore year, junior year, I was playing.
Mhm.
My redshirt junior and senior year, I was starter. So
Now, what
it was
position did
good.
you play up there?
I went up there as a tailback first year, but I got hurt
Mhm.
and ended up moving to strong safety. And so I played strong safety my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And in my fifth
Okay.
year, I was a cornerback because due to injury, we just needed me there.
Mhm. Now, as you playing, obviously the motivator with the depth chart, and obviously the playing time increased to a point where you're starting at. I mean, are you thinking the pros?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, I'm playing football, getting an education,
Got
enjoying
you.
my life. Yeah,
Hmm.
that nothing more, no more aspirations than that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
How was the team overall though, so far as
We were
wins
good.
or losses? Okay.
Our sophomore year, we won the Yankee Conference. Our junior year, my first year, we had Tim Murphy was our head coach,
Hmm.
and I think he's the past head coach at Harvard for the past 20 some years. But he was my first head coach.
Okay.
He left Thanksgiving weekend. We came back. He was gone. We have a new coach, Tom Lichtenberg. He came from Ohio, and we ended up winning a championship and lost in the playoffs, but won the conference. Junior year, next year, third year, third head coach.
Mm.
Uh, Kirk Ferentz, who's the head coach at Iowa, he was our head coach.
Okay.
And then so 3 years, three head coaches. That third year, we were terrible. We were 3-8.
Hmm.
Recruiting, just that continuity. You can't build that with all that coaching change.
Hmm.
And so the next 2 years we were 3-8, and then my fifth year we were 7-4.
Mm.
We had a pretty decent year that year.
And then with all those changes here, I mean, obviously you did what you needed to do, and obviously playing time and all here. But Did you see the whole thing with the coaches wanting their players to play or whoever they recruited, or did you see any of that even up there?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, coaches come in and they try and, establish their way and stuff. As I got older, in my senior year, I had a very mature conversation with my new position, with my fifth new position coach.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, listen, brother, I'm your guy. And I'm not gonna, you'll be gone next year,
Hmm.
as will I. Let's just do this together. And he had no issues with me. It was probably the best 1 year relationship I had with a coach because we had an understanding of what he wanted and what I wanted. So
Okay.
it worked out. Yeah, it worked out.
Now I know you talked about no pro aspirations, but what did you want to do with the rest of your life once you got done with that?
At that time, I was really kind of following in my dad's footsteps. He
Okay.
was an athletic director. In 1990, I believe, my sophomore year, he became an AD at Rhode Island, and so
Hmm.
that's when I actually left New Jersey for good.
Hmm.
And my senior year, he became the AD at Minnesota.
Hmm.
So my goal was I was going to work in athletics, in collegiate athletics when I graduated. So after that, after Maine, I had went and started working with the Minnesota Twins
Okay.
in their sales and marketing department as an intern. I did that for about a year and a half,
Hmm.
and then went down to Tulane University uh, and worked in their athletic department, and then the Sun Belt Conference office worked in their athletic department and then so that was what my career was eventually pushing towards, was to work in athletics.
How was those experiences? I mean, again, from one conference to another, one conference bigger than the other, but just I guess from networking to actually doing something that you wanted to pursue here. How was those experiences?
It was fun. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had an advantage because I had connections.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting. It was fun. How I got to Tulane, the athletic director at Maine was Dr. Kevin White, who's now the AD at Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He was my mentor,
Okay.
and he became the AD at Tulane. And so while I was up in Minneapolis, he literally called me at a friend's house and said, "You want to come down to interview for this position at Tulane?" And so, going down there, I was able to interact with student athletes, coaches,
Mm-hmm.
learn a new part of town. I met started my family, met my wife, had my son, my daughter, so that's where, things kind of started for me, was there, but it was through my connections at the University of Maine.
Okay. And
Mhm.
being in Tulane to help you was in that New Orleans area neither. That didn't hurt.
Look, when I got the call, I was in Minneapolis. It was snowing outside my window.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to the next week, when I was doing the interview, I was literally doing a backstroke in a pool with palm trees. So
Yeah.
yeah, it did wonders for my skin and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Your well-being, that's the most important. You're not right. You can't go anywhere. Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Nah, what I don't know, from the beginning here you talked about obviously having the car service. What made you get into that line of work?
Well, I got when I was doing athletics, I ended up leaving to pursue an opportunity in private business.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever heard of the company Jostens. They do class
I
rings
was
and
about to say
cap
that sound familiar. Yes, yes.
champ rings, and so I was the guy, the ring guy.
Okay.
And so I did that in New Orleans. It was a really good opportunity, and I ended up growing the business, and that's what brought me to Mobile.
Mhm.
And things just didn't work out, with who I was working with, and we parted ways. And in order for me to continue, I had a non-compete clause in my contract, so I had to basically sit still for 6 months.
Mm.
And I got into driving limousines down here in Mobile,
Mhm.
and it just created a niche market. Was able to create a niche market for myself. This is pre-Uber,
Mhm.
small town, so you got to keep in mind there was maybe 5 or 6 cabs,
Okay.
like not cab companies, cabs.
Cabs. Yeah.
you know, Maybe 1 or 2 limos, and the limos were fairly, Sanford and Son like.
Mhm.
It was not a it was not a pro transportation type area.
Okay.
So I had a town car, shirt and tie, and conversation. So the hotels basically made me their go-to guy, and the business grew. And next thing you know, I'm doing better than I was with Jostens. And so I was
Mm.
like, hey, and this evolved. That's been 12, 13 years ago now.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
And how's it been? I know obviously you talked about the pandemic for a second, but interesting you brought up like the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world. How's that been with your business? Has it
Yeah.
impacted you?
Different clientele. I've gotten to a point where I'm what you call a very snooty cab driver. I don't put anybody in the ride.
Mhm.
You got to be a corporate executive
Okay.
or some sort of pilot or aviator. And otherwise, or somebody of some personal clout.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I don't just pick up random people at the bar or something like that, or at airports or something. I don't do that anymore.
Nah, and that's important. I mean, know your market.
Yeah,
No, absolutely, and them
much more.
contracts. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
and definitely them
much more
contracts.
exclusive
They come.
clientele. Yep,
Nah,
yep.
and I know I mentioned just starting a family and all that. I mean, how's that been? Just raising your kids. I mean, I know you've been
Oh,
sports heavy with it, but how was you as a parent? I know everybody's different. How you been?
yeah. So I've been, that's a loaded question. I was a good parent to my kids.
Okay.
My son CJ is now 25,
Hmm.
and he's just moved to Las Vegas. So shout out to Lamar. I'm coming out there to see you.
Yeah.
Uh, he's out in Vegas
Hmm.
pursuing mixed martial arts, UFC, cage fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
he was doing that in Albuquerque. He was 3 and 4 as an amateur, and then COVID hit and stopped everything, and so he's now starting back up, and he just moved to Las Vegas.
Okay. Okay.
I had a daughter. She passed away. She was
My
15. Yeah,
condolences, man.
yeah, she was 15. And so we lost her. And so that's been the past 6 years has just been dealing with that, and trying to help out people who have gone through and experienced what I have experienced. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Nah. God bless, man. Just yeah, just having kids, and I mean, obviously, you want them to have a better life than you, and then
Right.
sometimes the rug gets pulled from under you with certain situations, as you just mentioned here, man. But
Yeah. Big. Yeah.
how
She was.
you try to move on, man? I mean, even with all that, I know ultimately you don't, but how have you tried to just move forward?
Yeah. It's a process.
Mhm.
For my son, he was at the time he was playing football at New Mexico State,
Okay.
and he quit and then got into training with a friend, and so that's how he got into UFC. So that was his journey.
Mhm.
Here, we just as parents, you just try to, the first year was very difficult.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone can predict or prepare for what you go through that first year. But the next couple of years, again, it kind of phases from crying every day to just being angry,
Yes.
and what
Mhm.
and you having
Mhm.
conversations with God like you would not normally have. And so that's been a process. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm able to actually reach out and help people that's
Yeah.
experienced it, to give them a source of. I remember seeing someone that first week, and I was like, how in the heck did you get to this point in your life? I was like, you
Mm.
lost a child,
Mm.
and but now I'm that person to somebody else who just
Yeah.
lost a child. So they can see me smile and keep going. maybe it could, maybe it can give somebody some inspiration to do some good, on down the line for themselves and stuff.
Nah, definitely, because you never know who's watching. I mean, as far as
Right.
your day to day and where you're going and how people just feed off you. You just never know.
That's right. That's
Mm,
right. That's right. Yeah, my daughter was not sick. She was not an unhealthy child. Just I had a normal life existence. As for regret, the only regret I have is I didn't take more pictures and videos,
mhm.
so I can have them now. But I spent, each day, making sure she knew I loved her, making sure I kissed her every day.
Mhm.
I was that dad, that girl's dad, that was,
Yeah.
I was involved.
Mhm.
And but not all I can do now is try and live right and move right and maybe help somebody along the way. And whatever path God has for me with that, it is what it is.
Mm. Nah, thanks for even sharing that. Like I said, I didn't mean to pull that out of you, but I appreciate you sharing
No,
that.
it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, no, it's part of my life. So
Mhm.
as I tell people, be normal around people who have lost children because that's what they need,
Right.
normalcy.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Don't sugarfoot around
Mhm.
anything, because I'd be like,
Mhm.
what?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know obviously with your son out the house, you and the wife, you guys are doing all right as far as just looking at each other. You're not tired of each other or anything, man?
Ooh, another loaded question.
All
Next.
right, no problem. No, I'm messing with you a little. I'm messing with you a little bit too. So messing with you
Yeah.
not. Nah, but even with sports, I mean, with all of being said and done, just you being around it, whether it's from your father, you actually being involved, you seeing your kids do or what have you, like what has this given you that sticks with you to this day?
I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
Sports has been my life. Like I say, from day one. My year revolves around the seasons that play. It's
Mhm.
NBA playoff season coming up. I revolve around that. College
Mhm.
football season in the fall. That's
Yes.
I live through those things and the lessons. I carry with me every day. The friendships and bonds, that brotherhood that you share with
Mhm.
people that you played with, whether it's high school or college, that those are beyond comparison to anything that you would have. So the experiences, those are there, ingrained within me, and every fabric within me. Yeah.
Mm. Nah, most definitely here. And I know you're seeing one or two of these here, man. Just wanted to end it on as far as just with some random questions, man, and put you on
Okay.
the spot a little bit if that's
Sure.
cool. I
Sure.
mean,
Sure.
putting your New Jersey hat on, man. When you up there, what have you here, man? You prefer the Parkway or the Turnpike?
Hey man, I got blood on the Parkway. I got I got a
Oh, literally,
teeth
literally, literally.
on the Parkway.
Okay,
So
okay.
Parkway.
uh, why Sesson or Salvo?
I'd have to say Wassessing, because I was there the longest, but my first experiences with a park that I remember was at Sorrel though.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
The club or block party?
Club 88.
And that's the year you graduated, ironically, too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you
My
88 Evergreen Place, huh?
oh yeah, my dad's agent was uh his name was Grassarella Oliphant, and his son Kevin Oliphant was
Mhm.
the DJ.
Okay.
And so it was always there or the Zanzibar. It was a good little
Oh,
spot and
so you
nice to know
good. Yeah, I was gonna say you good. You didn't even pay to get in, probably.
on the
You-
list, baby, on the
Yeah,
list.
that's most definitely because that line took you down to Central Ave messing around on some nights.
That's
Nah,
right.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Football, basketball.
basketball.
Mm-hmm. Since you spent some time up in good old man, ever been ice fishing?
No, but I've gone whitewater canoeing.
Okay.
I we took a class. We did whitewater canoeing, climbed Mount Katahdin. I walked across a stream, drank spring water in Maine. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Nah, the reason I said that I spent the year of my life in Maine, so that's why I know a
Where at?
little. I went to MCI for a year. I went down.
Oh, really? So you was right down the road.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah,
that's why I knew about Bangor, the mall up there. That was like an
right.
outlet, even though it was like an hour away.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, no,
I
no,
know.
definitely. Hmm.
Okay, good deal, man. Good deal.
Yeah. What did you love most? What do you love most, rather, being an adult or a kid?
An adult.
Yeah. Hmm.
Not
Yeah.
close.
Not even
No.
Immaculate or University of Maine.
Both got my heart, man. I'm a lion and a black bear, so both.
Hmm. Speaking of Immaculate, you ever spent some time on that bench on the second floor?
That bench was there because of me. I ain't joking. There
Yeah.
was no bench when I was there.
Oh. I
That bench was put there to make me comfortable.
mean, oh, okay, okay.
I ain't joking.
Nah, yeah, nah. A lot of people spend a lot of time. It was, I don't know what's crazy even with that. Like, obviously, you see, everyone sees you because you're on the bench because it's the end of the hall, it's right there. They see you. They're interested enough. I don't know when they did this or switch right above there, above the bench. They had the student of the month. So just kind of thinking
Uh,
of the irony here, like just it's interesting here.
Duality of the man.
Mhm. Remember, remember when you scored your 1,000th point?
I do, yeah. I didn't know it until that, I think the week before they told me that I was close,
Hmm.
and so I remember that ceremony. My mom was at the game, and she didn't go to many of my games. It was mostly my dad that was there,
Hmm.
and so I remember they were both there, and stuff. So yeah, I do remember that. I probably maybe could have scored more, but the 3-point line started my senior year,
Okay,
and that was only in conference games because it wasn't, everybody wasn't doing it yet.
I didn't know
So
that. So when they started it, some schools still didn't have the liner. Okay.
no, no. It was that first year that they implemented was my senior year, and it was on a part-time basis. Just certain conferences did it. The state championship tournaments, they did not have it. And
Really? I
when you
see. Okay.
played non-conference games, there was no 3-point line.
Mm. And you from sixth grade playing in that gym. Once you get hot in there, it's like an ocean.
Right, right. People don't realize what an advantage that small gym is.
Hmm.
It's you certainly have an advantage, but yeah, it's the pit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Best game you ever played in your life? Any sport, any level.
Football would probably be University of Rhode Island. That was against my dad when
I was
he
about to
was
say
there.
he's the AD there. Yeah.
I got named the defensive player of the week that week. So I
Okay.
had some interceptions and sacks.
Hmm.
Did the Heisman pose
Oh,
like
you posed it on too? Desmond, like
what
Desmond have?
Desmond, yeah, yeah. And so that was best game football wise.
Okay.
Basketball, I don't know. Maybe um, maybe against Essex Catholic one year I did pretty good. So I don't know. Yeah,
Okay. Now, as far as who's the better back? Lance Boston, Fred Givens, or Ben Simmons?
me. Look, they all know I'm gonna say that. I mean, I like I said, I grew up confident, borderline
Yes.
cocky,
Hmm.
and I believed in my abilities. I knew I can do everything that they could do. The difference was they wanted to be good football players.
Okay.
I was playing football,
Got you.
so I didn't. But I guess if I had to say who was better, I'd say me.
Yeah. You're supposed to. You're supposed to.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
But a lot of
That.
good players, like Ben was good, Fred was good,
Hmm.
and Immaculate in general was good with athletes. They pulled players from Newark,
Yes.
East Orange, Irvington, all over. Um, Guys in my neighborhood that came after me, from what I heard, Reggie Johnson was my neighbor,
Yeah. Reg
and
said that. Yeah. Reg said that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and he came just like me. He played in the streets, and so I'm sure when he got to Immaculate, it seemed easy for him because he
Hmm.
was always playing with older guys.
Hmm.
Gil Ross he lived around the corner from me. So
Hmm.
all those guys, it was, coming to Immaculate, it was a thing to do.
Yeah. Me ask, speaking of immaculate and that, did you ever get lured to they try to ever get you to run track or do anything in track and field?
So interesting. A good story. After sophomore year basketball, one day I was looking at the girls' track team stretch in the gym.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a hand come over my shoulder. It was
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dyer. And he said, Lance, the view is better if you're on the team. And I, so 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 I ended up trying out for the team, but
Mm-hmm.
he had talked about my flexibility would be improved with track,
Okay.
and it would also help my endurance. And those are conversations that I had happened to be having with my dad anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try track. So I ended up having the best year of any sport of my athletic career was that spring sophomore year.
Yeah.
We won county, we won conference, we won state championship. My only state championship in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then going to track meets. Track meets were fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. It was like a big social event. On a weekend. So those were good times for me. I really enjoyed that year. Yeah. So I did track for 1 year, that sophomore year.
Okay. Couldn't get you back the next two, huh?
Yeah, that was 1 year was enough.
That was enough. Yeah. Nah. Now you learn, you get appreciation for it. I mean,
Yeah,
on the outside, you're looking in it, man, they just running around, you get appreciation for it.
yeah, yeah.
No.
And like I say, to be on that like Immaculate's track team, was considered a powerhouse.
Yes.
And of course, Richie was with us, and
Mm.
what he ended up doing with the Olympics was impressive.
Yes.
I remember him coming to me one year and saying, "I'm not going to do basketball anymore. I'm just going to concentrate on track." And here I am telling him, a future Olympian, "Man, are you crazy? Why we got a good team. We need to play some ball. We got a good team." But what did I know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nah, interesting. Best team you ever been on, speaking of teams.
uh,
On any level, on any level.
on any level, I think our sophomore year at Maine, when we won our championship, that was a good team.
Yeah.
That was probably our best team I was on.
Okay. And then swing it back to Immaculate. I mean, you don't see people come through the hallways, whether before you or after you here. Your top 5 Immaculate athletes, male, female.
Oh, I would say, during my time, me, Ben, and Fred were probably the 3 better athletes in football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lee was really good in basketball, but like I said, Lee got his best when I left.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see his best yet,
Okay.
but I saw his improvement each year.
Yeah.
Coach Richie, he was, spectacular in track and field.
Mm-hmm.
On the female side, I remember there was a Mary Kiernan. She was
Mary,
really
yes.
good. Yeah, she was really good. So I'll probably say those 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone, I mean, however you want to define made it, but somebody who should have made it.
I knew a guy in my grandparents' town of North Carolina that should have made it. I mean, he was good. Other than that, he was all state in basketball, football, and baseball, and end up getting involved in drugs and prison and all that stuff. So that's one of the tales that should have made it.
Yes.
But I really don't. I don't know. I don't really think about it. I've been gone a long time, so I don't know. The people that I know and went to school with, I still keep in touch with, and we're all adults, living our lives, and so I hadn't had to pick anybody up off the street yet, and they hadn't had to pick me up. So we all made it.
Most definitely. Most definitely here. What's best part about being Lance Boston?
I wake up every day. I've got blessings from just being a good father and having great friends throughout my life, great experiences. Been able to see the world. Seen just about every state except 7
Okay.
now. Been to Europe. Got a lot of connections and
Yes.
have just had some good times really. So
Mm.
I just I carry a lot. I carry a lot of memories with me, and I've always said that sometimes where I've been, I wish people could see through my eyes.
Mm.
You know, and back from in East Orange and in that area, sometimes you see something different, and you're like, wow, this is something different.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I always said, I wish people back home could see what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, the world's bigger than our block. I mean,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. Now, speaking of those experiences or moments, what are 3 of your best moments? It could be anything. I know you have a bunch of them. If any stick out so far in your life.
Um, when my daughter was born,
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of that whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
from the time the first labor pain came to the time where I literally pulled and caught her out of the,
Mm-hmm.
sheet. So that was probably the one major, most, incredible thing that I've ever experienced.
Okay.
But and as far as everything else, it's just life in general. I've been blessed, man. I've been
Yes.
blessed. I've
Mm-hmm.
been blessed. Mhm.
Book on your life. What would you call it?
Ah, you can rest assured.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little club we
Mm-hmm.
started in Maine, and we kind of made jokes about it, but it basically comes down to anything you want to play, you can rest assured. You
Mm.
want to get down, you can rest assured. You want to go
Mm.
out, rest assured.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So
No, I
that
like
would be,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I like that. At this point in your life here, what advice would you give that 17, 18-year-old senior in high school, Lance? What advice would you give him?
I would just, tell them just, keep an eye out for things, be open. I wish I would have played chess
Mm.
a lot when I was that age, because I play a lot now, but I feel like I'm in the, a beginner.
Okay.
And I wish I would have played back then. All the games we played, cards, ball games, board
Mm-hmm.
games, even, I never played chess. So,
Yeah.
uh, and I love it now. So, I wish I would have tell them that, hey, look, pick up the game and learn some stuff then, as opposed to, wait until you're 30, 35, 40 years old to start playing.
Mm. Now, it's great. My father told me when I was about 8 or 9. So, yeah,
Nice.
for us to play
Nice.
chess. Yes. Yeah, so,
I, One day I look forward to meeting you in person and we'll play some games.
nah, absolutely. Absolutely. You might get me now. I'm a little rusty, but, it's like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike.
I'm not that good, I can assure you.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know whether you just being slick right now. One or the other. Now, your parents, man, what would they say about you right now? What would they say?
I would think they're proud.
Mm-hmm.
They're retired now in Eastern North Carolina,
Okay.
uh, living the dream. Uh, they're I would think they're happy with me and who I've become.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as parents, you always want your kids to be able to take care of themselves and raise their family and do right. And so for the most part, I've been able to do that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's on deck? What you got going on next?
Ah, man, you know, if I knew that, I get the right numbers for that lottery ticket. If I knew
Mm-hmm.
the answers,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, man. I'm working on teaching kids chess.
Okay.
I'm still running my business. I'm looking for opportunities always, to get involved in different endeavors in business and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm here in Mobile. I don't know if this will be home for much longer, but I'm here now, and I've enjoyed living here. It's been a pleasant surprise to be living down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Now, Lance, earlier I know I mentioned you said you never know who's watching,
Yeah,
and I use that as far as for me with you here. Obviously hearing the stories and everything else, the exploits or what have you there, and then even my 1 year, even being in Maine, knowing you and Ben were up there,
Yeah.
I mean, again, I just think, and I'm just so honored to like have an opportunity to come behind you guys. I know the bar was high and everything else here in regards to you guys and everybody else here, but speaking to you in particular, just being, football, basketball. Obviously, I didn't even know you did track, but just in general, and then just to hear a little bit of your world right now here, like I said, just the journey and the journey you continue to live, man. Like, I'm so glad I've had this opportunity, and obviously, it just stamps who you are. To be honest with you, to me here, so I just want to say thank you. And I know I poked at you a little bit to get you on here, and you was just like, just give me some time, I got you. I'm very appreciative that you gave me these few minutes with you here. You don't know how much this means to me. And I know a few people who asked me, they say, can you get Lance? Can you get Lance? Well, I got him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lance, thank you for who you are and who you continue to be, man. And like I said, I cherish this a whole lot. I just want you to know that.
I appreciate you, man, and you're doing a great job. When I drive, I click the phone to YouTube, and I listen to some of your stuff like talk radio, and it brings me back. And a lot of the things in shows that you have done has helped connect the dots from my past, from people that I've known and have seen and have similar connections and connections with. And so you're doing a great thing, man. You represent IC, and like I say, if I could ever be of any service to you, and I look forward to literally meeting you one day. And
absolutely.
Yeah, because our network is small and
Yes.
days are short and nothing is promised. And so,
that's right.
Might as well use this as an opportunity to kind of do something even bigger than what you're doing. It's so thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Nah, thank you, man. And you be well and be safe out there on the roads too as well, man. I know it can get crazy sometimes. Be well, and no doubt we'll definitely be in touch, man.
Sounds good. All right.
Take care, man. Peace, Lance.
Peace.
One of Immaculate's own there, like I said, is just one big homies here that I knew about, heard about, saw a little bit of, but just to hear a little bit, about his world here, just takes me back. Like I said, just how appreciative I am of all of this. So Lance, man, salute to you, man, and and everything that you got going on. With that being said, I'm just gonna step away. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.